Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of India IT 360 Presents the Tech Tea Podcast. And I'm your host for today, Survi Sahai, Senior Content Writer. And to take our podcast series forward, I'll take the pleasure of hosting our special guest for the day, Ms. Purvi Shah, a dynamic CIO with over 19 years of experience across real estate, banking, telecom, vehicle finance, and exports. With a strong track record of leading digital transformation in the real estate sector, she has successfully driven large scale implementation in Salesforce, SAP, SAP S, 4HANA, and enterprise IT initiatives that deliver measurable business value. Known for her strategic mindset and people first leadership approach, Purvi brings a unique perspective on blending innovation, governance, and process excellence to build future ready organizations. Hello and welcome to you, ma'am.
Hi, thank you so much, Surbi, and looking forward to the conversation.
Great. So we'll start the conversation. And so my first question to you would be, ma'am, from existing project to leading enterprise-wide transformation, what changed most in your decision making as a CIO?
So, main shift from decision making when I was working at a project level, it was like focusing on scope, successful implementation, timelines, and cost. But major shift happened when I started thinking at enterprise-wide impact. That it started from whether this will work technically to whether people use it or what if they don't use it. So that shifted from what is the impact at a org level, which business problem we are trying to solve. So overall ROI, user mindset, adoption. So it shifted from particular technological angle to a business angle. That's the major shift that I have faced.
So, ma'am, you have worked in real estate. So, real estate has traditionally been slow to digitize. What were the toughest barrier, I would say, you have faced while, shifting to a digitization, to a digital shift that real estate is now holding to?
So real estate is having fragmented operations and it's a operation heavy sector. So barriers are real here. So main barrier in the real estate sector is mindset of the people. So to shift the mindset of the people from manual Excel to automation is the barrier. It's the first point. And second is we have site-wise different operation. So standardization of operation at a national level was a critical thing that we need to drive. So moving from area specific process to a organization specific process and adopting the best industry practices is the challenge. Secondly, data discipline is also one more challenge that we are facing, ensuring the hygiene of the master data and ensuring that we delivered the director level KPI from the system. We need to have a basic hygiene of the master data. So and more specifically, in real estate, top 100 real estate player, if we look at, majority of them are Salesforce and SAP, but they both don't have the real estate specific workflow. So the standard product should have a real estate specific workflow, so that will help become organization implement it fast and ensuring that adoption also become fast.
So the next question would be related to that only. You have delivered measurable impact like revenue growth and customer experience improvements. How do you ensure IT is always seen as a revenue driven and not a cost center?
So when we implement any technology, we ensure that we explain that which business problem we are trying to solve, how we are trying to solve, how many manual Excels that will be automated, and that will be we can get the real time data from the system. So basically, we ensure that we involve the business user from the day one, and they are a part of the scoping, development, trainings, rollout, data migration in all phases, so that they don't feel that this has been imposed to us, but they feel ownership of the project, and we start getting value out of it. And that's how people see value from the system, if they feel ownership.
Right. Ownership is most important so
Yes.
that
Mhm.
people take ownership and they work accordingly. So my fourth question would be, you have led sales for greenfield transformation as well. So how do you determine which area of business value are best delivered through Salesforce?
So Salesforce is not where customers and partners life cycle. Wherever there is a connector of customer and partner life cycle, it works the best. So basically, it covers pre-sales, sales, CRM, customer experience, and partner experience touch points. Again, whenever we implement any technology, it works for, basically it meant for that. But if we don't implement the right processes, if we don't map the right business processes, best industry practices, I have seen a technology successful tool like Salesforce also get fails in some of the organization. So whether it works or not, how we drive the implementation, what processes we are implementing, basically, what majority of the organization uh, faces the challenges of failure only because they rush into the implementation first, and then after going live they think about KPIs and developing reports and dashboards. So instead, we should start by asking that what KPIs our leadership team truly care about. And if we design the system that captures and reports the right data, then it will definitely get successful, being it as a Salesforce, SAP, or any tool.
So related to this, the other question would be like, what is the one mistake organizations make when implementing enterprise platforms like SAP or Salesforce? Is this the that what you are talking about? This is the
So
mistake.
yes, so there are two, three things. So one big mistake, definitely not thinking about KPI before implementing and scoping and designing the system. We should design the system the way it captures all the data related to the KPI that we really want to achieve. So whether it is SAP or Salesforce, platforms are very good, but the success lies in what business processes that we are mapping, how we are mapping, and what data it captures, and how meaningfully that data is being presented to the senior manager to help them taking right decision at right time.
That was a full insight from you. So moving on, you have directly contributed to revenue increase and cost saving. So how do you build strong business case that gets leadership buy-in?
So whenever we thought about any implementation, we always think about that which business problem we are trying to solve, right? So if management don't feel that this is a business problem, then we will never get their back or buy-in on this project. So basically, we need to explain to the senior management that, are we trying to work on revenue saving? Are we trying to reduce the risk of the organization? Are we trying to reduce the leakages of the organization, increasing the efficiency, reducing the man-hours, automizing any particular task? So if they feel that this is the real life problem, we will definitely get that buy-in. And again, as I said, that we always make business as a honor of the system. So where there is a business alignment is there, definitely senior management buy-in becomes easy.
Moving on. So what metrics do you personally track to measure the success of digital transformation?
So I personally do not track on the basic criteria like budget and timeline, but I track that with whatever implementation we are doing, it has to be integrated. There has to be integrated ecosystem in the organization. All the platforms should be interlinked, and there should be a real-time data visibility at a senior management level. They should be able to take right decision at the right time with the help of this one single platform. There should not be silos of the system. Process standardization is one of the key area that I focus personally, because if there is a fragmented processes, it is not going to help senior management in taking the right decision, right? And most importantly, the success is not only when we implement the tool, but when it gets adopted by the people and people see real value out of the system. There has to be a elimination of all manual excel that has been used in the organization, and people should feel and trust the system, and they should feel the ownership of the system, and they should feel the real value of the system at each level of the organization, starting from executive to manager to the senior leadership. They should get all the KPIs from the system, and that's where we get the real successes.
So, you have worked on ISO 27701, Readiness and Enterprise Security. How do you balance innovation speed with governance and risk control?
Innovation speed and governance goes hand in hand. They are not, they don't work in silos. So whenever we implement any project, there has to be a periodic review mechanism at a project manager level, head level, and even at a steering committee level to ensure that we do not miss on any important KPIs. At the same time, we are adhering to the project timelines and speed as well. So there are reviews, and there is a structured approach to drive the project with each line item, a start date, end date, and ownership of each line item, and to ensure that we are meeting the particular timeline with the regular reviews.
Okay, that was a lot of insight. So, moving on a lighter version of this, has cybersecurity finally became a boardroom conversation, or is it still seen as an IT problem? What do you think about it?
Yes, definitely, it has become the boardroom topic. People organization used to think that it is a technical glitch, it's an IT problem, but now it has been correlated with the business impact, operation impact, revenue loss, reputation impact, and there is a senior management accountability involved as well. So, it's now not only the IT problem. So cybersecurity is a boardroom topic in terms of continuity of the operation, data security, and ensuring that zero downtime, and people, each and every level of the organization understand the importance of the data security. And but the actual success lies when senior management feels that there should be a separate head of the cybersecurity budget into the annual budgeting.
Okay. So, my next question would be, what does a future-ready real estate enterprise look like from a technology standpoint?
So real estate, as I say, that there is no real estate specific workflow in any standard ERP like SAP, Oracle, or any CRM like successful CRM like Salesforce. So when we get the real estate specific workflow from the product itself, SAP, Salesforce, that will be the real future of the real estate, where everybody is adapting the industry best practices, and all the systems are integrated. There will be a single ecosystem for all the decision making, single source of truth. There is no, when we move from people driven to process driven and data driven organization, that will be the real success in terms of the real estate. And most importantly, standardization of the processes and the clarity of the data that we, it's not only implementing the tool, but it's about the continuous governance that we drive at the organization level, and we ensure that there is a data sanity, and we derive the measurable ROI from the technological investment with the help of real-time reports and dashboards. So that's where and people start adopting systems from manual Excel. So that would be the real success and game changer for the real estate industry.
Okay. So, if you had to build your tech stack, so from scratch today, what will be you doing different?
So differently, I would be sitting with the senior management and all leadership team to understand that what KPIs really does matter for them, and how. So we will start from the reverse. We will not start from the scoping the project, but we will start from understanding the KPIs that we want to achieve. We will do the reverse implementation. Starting from reports and dashboard, then it will drill down to the data. So that will give the real success, and it will reduce a lot of rework, customization, and overcost. And I would also do the standardization of all the processes, all the business processes across location, across sites, to ensure that we are building a system that is common for everyone. There are common KPIs that everybody is adhered to, and there is no discrimination across sites or across locations in the organization. So if we work across the world, there will be a single source of truth, and there will be a single dashboard that will be reviewed, and there will be no different formats, or there is no Excel dependency on anything. That would I definitely prefer.
Single point of contact or single point from where everything can be managed at a time, right?
Yeah.
So we'll get down to a more lighter version of this with rapid fire questions. So it's boardroom or ground reality. Where do you learn more?
Ground reality.
One decision you would redo.
Becoming CIO.
What legacy do you want to leave as a CIO?
Working on the impact rather than the technology.
Okay, that's a big thing. One tech buzzword you would eliminate.
Quick implementation, because implementation, if thought through, then it will be successful.
Right. One word your team uses for you.
Change maker.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable insight and experience. And it was pleasure hosting you today.
Thank you so much to you as well for your time and wonderful questions. Surbi, it's nice having you here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a pleasure. For my viewers, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Tech Tea Podcast. You can also download our curated app for IT CXOs, IT 360 Connect, where you can watch for more podcasts, share your views, articles, thoughts, and get first-hand updates on our upcoming webinar, roundtables, and digital campaign. You can join these directly using the app and earn points with every interaction, which can be easily redeemed using the Amazon voucher. We are also currently running the Tech Premier League, TPL, where you can predict the winning team in ongoing IPL matches and win exciting prizes. Simply scan the QR code shown on the screen and download the app and get started. That's all for today. Thank you once again, Ms. Purvi, for such a wonderful session. And to all the viewers, thank you again. Have a great day.